on three. 1, 2, 3.
Win!
The alley-oop!
Hello, Saints fans. Welcome to the Coaches Show. This is your show, in-depth analysis of all things St. Martin's men's and women's golf, alongside head coach Bahr and coach for the men. First tournament play of the spring in the Tim Tierney Pioneer Shootout last week over in Alameda, California. What did you like from your group? What are some of the standouts that we saw from last weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. I always say I think it's really important to get that first tournament under our belt and kind of see what's working and what's not, what we need to work on the most. And I think overall, really solid start. I think we saw some great stuff. Had a good lineup. We're still kind of trying to figure out who's going to make kind of the back half 3-4 or 4-5 in those spots. We got a really competitive team this year. But was proud of the guys overall. I think some key things to take away. We had a rather high amount of birdies. I think we were like 8th or 9th in the standings for birdies, but we had more birdies overall. We have 46 birdies over 3 rounds. And we have more birdies than Western Washington, Academy of Art, and Simon Fraser, who all finished either 9th or above in the event. And so the ability to make good numbers is there. Unfortunately, on the flip side, I think we had the most amount of birdies or bogeys, out of any team in the field. So that's kind of my goal moving forward is we got to keep the birdies, but we have to lessen the amount of bogeys we're taking, whether they're soft bogeys. Good bogeys are great, but we just need to kind of reduce that a little bit and kind of reduce the amount of little mistakes we're making. I think we have a phenomenal group of players. They're a really talented bunch. Gavin Klein, Rasmus Tamper, and Carter Sheets have kind of stood above in our lineup as far as, the top players on our team, and I think they performed really well. Gavin, I think, was ranked 3rd in the field in par 3 scoring average, which is great. There's plenty of good things to take away. And so my goal for this next event, because we leave on Wednesday this week for our next events.
Today.
Goal, is to, one, get to see him in person. My assistant coach was with him last week, and so it'll be great to, for me to get to see it right then and there. But then, 2, hopefully just kind of lower those little mistakes that we make as we get more into tournament play. I think that'll happen naturally, but I'm looking forward to seeing it in person.
St. Martin's men will make the trip down south to Goodyear, Arizona, in the Hot Dirt Desert Shootout. That'll take place on Friday, and then starting on Sunday, the Stack Cougar Burro Collegiate, taking place Sunday all the way to Tuesday, where it's only one round each day for that tournament. So 3 rounds of golf sprinkled across 3 days, and as we look ahead towards what that stretch is going to look like, it all begins on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll play practice round on Thursday, and then, 36 holes on Friday for the first tournament. Kind of unique to just have 36 holes in one day and that be the event. But I'm excited. Estrella is a good track. I think the greens will be a little bit slower than they were at Corica Park in Alameda for the Tim Tierney Pioneer Shootout. But we have, I think, about half of our roster has seen the golf course before, so that's great, versus Corica Park was new. So they kind of know what to expect there with Estrella. And then kind of shifting into that second event, 18 holes, 3 days in a row. I think kind of nice to spread it out a little bit instead of do 36-18, but Verado, I've heard great things. It's a new golf course for me, and I think most of the men, a new golf course for them as well, so it'd be exciting. Very competitive field. We've got the number 1 team in the nation, and I think 5 or 6 teams in the region that are ranked in the top 10, so it'll be a very competitive field, and I'm excited to see what we can do.
And a lot of optimism over what's to come for the men. But as far as this tournament, what does a successful weekend look like for you?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think lower scores obviously is the easy answer, but what I look for from round to round, and more so the second tournament than the first, since that's just a one day, or like lowering that team score every day is crucial for me. I always want to see a lower team score in definitely the final rounds, but even first to second, second to third. That'll be big. I'd love to see plenty of birdies out there, and then less bogeys, hopefully. But just kind of being able to dial in the swings a little bit. Closer proximity to the hole will be important. And then use those positives to move forward into the back half of the spring season.
A look at what's to come for St. Martin's. A lot of time in Arizona before GNAC play coming up in just several weeks' time out in the third week of April. But look at the women's side, a little bit of a winning end of the equation with a lot of winning, first program victory in a tournament outside of the home confines since 2014. What a week it was for your side, Coach Bahr.
Yeah, there's really so much to say, but most of all, I'm just so proud of our group of young ladies. They're a very, very talented bunch, and I couldn't ask for more this week. I was hopeful coming off of our strong finish at East Bay in our season opener a couple weeks ago. I was hopeful that we could come into these two tournaments last week and really compete and potentially win one. And they did just that. And after 6 long days of golf, too, it was in the second event, 6 long days of golf in a row. And I just think they played so well, and they deserve all the recognition and credit. They did great.
And speaking of recognition and credit, Kelsey Inouye able to come away with GNAC Player of the Week honors. How special is it for her?
Oh, so special. I'm so proud of her. She is one of the best players to ever come through the St. Martin's women's golf program, truly. She's had some great tournament results in the past. I think it's a testament to how good Division II women's golf has gotten, even in the last 6 years since I've been here. The caliber of play is very strong, and so finally for her to get it this week, it was just great. She played so consistent, a top 4 in the first event and a top 3 in the second. Tied our program record again with a 200 par 70. So I know she's knocking at the door. She's going to get into those 60s soon. But I think for her, hopefully just a boost of confidence, again, heading into the back half of our season once April hits.
And in such an incredible week already for her, and plenty, you would imagine, still to come for Kelsey Inouye. But also for the rest of the St. Martin side, a lot of positives. Haley Blancas with a huge week.
Yeah, she I don't think I've seen her hit the ball that well since our home tournament back in September, so it's been a few months. She has been working her butt off. I think it's exactly what she needed. She was clutch for us in the second tournament. We got really the short end of the stick with weather. So on Thursday we teed off, and the wind was blowing probably 10, 15, and then gusts up to 20. But by the time we got to hole 8 and 9, the gusts were getting up to 40, and the consistent wind was probably 20 to 30 miles an hour, and it was really tough. Very challenging conditions. If you look at the scorecard online, you can kind of tell when the wind started to get even worse, because there are more bogeys and doubles on everybody's scorecards compared to pars and birdies. But I give them a lot of credit. We finally got a stoppage of play, had about an hour and a half break, and we went back out after that stoppage of play. At that point, it's raining, which, good old Pacific Northwest weather. Maybe we needed some of that. I don't know. But she played her final 5 holes in even par and became a counting score for us. And a testament to never giving up. And in the end, every stroke mattered for us. The next day we won by 3, which is not that big of a margin. And so we really appreciated that. But then, day 2, we come in, and that kind of swing thought she had found and confidence she had found in the back half after we resumed play definitely played a huge part for round 2. And she was our 3rd scorer for round 2. Again, hadn't seen her hit the ball that well since our home tournament in the fall. So really proud of her, and continuing to fight for it, because golf is really hard. It can beat you down at times, and I'm happy that she was able to see some of that success.
And speaking of success, same could be said for Hannah White.
Yeah, our senior, I'm so proud of her. She's come so far, and to have her finish out a round, that 73 on Friday, I couldn't ask for more. She played so good in really, really challenging conditions. And one of the things she's been looking for was to kind of close out a round like that. And she made just an incredible par on 18 that when she made it, I kind of was able to take a deep breath. Like, okay, I think we might pull out the win here, because I think 18 was playing as the second hardest hole of the tournament that week. And so for her to just make an incredible par and finish out an awesome round, we had decided as a group on Thursday night that we weren't going to look at the leaderboard on Friday, or at least try not to. They were hopefully going to let me do my job and kind of keep tabs on it for us and tell them what they needed to hear, and hopefully when they needed to hear it. And she, huge for her, I think, being able to close out a really, really solid round, and I got to give her a huge hug afterwards and tell her she finished solo second. So it was great.
And then for Ashley Brulin, what did you like about her the last few weeks?
Yeah, she's always been a really consistent player for us, a huge asset of our team, just personality and the energy she brings to our team, along with Jade Rebello too. But Ashley's been really consistent. I think she got off to a slower start than she wanted on Friday morning, was kind of able to reset and continue her strong play, which I appreciated because, again, every stroke matters always, but definitely in that situation, every stroke mattered. And so she was able to kind of even out. I think she played her final 12 holes, maybe in 4 over par or something. I would need to go back and check, but really consistent, and was able to finish out a good round, even when there might have been, she got a really bad break in a bunker on 4, and then another bad break later in the round, and was able to manage that pretty well, and still finish strong. So I appreciated that.
And then you touched on Jade Rebello. How big is she to the program?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, all of our young ladies are very important. Jade brings a character to our program that I love. She just has such a positive energy. She always loves on everybody, no matter what, and we appreciate it so much. One of the cool things out there this week, that I saw, and compared to some of the other teams, is we're giving each other waves, we're giving each other hugs and high fives when we can, and that energy just feeds through the lineup, right? You have your number 5 player who might be on hole 12 and your number 1 player who might be on hole 9. We're pretty spread out, and that energy just kind of feeds through the group, and having that energy anywhere is appreciated.
Staying loose, that can go miles on end, including leading to tournament wins. And with that win, how did it feel for you as a coach with the emotional swings throughout wind, hail, sleet, snow? Well, maybe not snow down there.
We didn't have snow, but
no snow. But where were the emotions at the entire week?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible how you can have the highest of highs and some frustrating moments all in one day, as far as Friday goes. But overall, it was just an incredible week. As far as scheduling went, when I said okay to these tournaments and put them on our schedule, my hope was we could compete and potentially win one, and I'm really grateful that that's how it worked out. But just so proud of them. We had a blast on and off the golf course, which is what you're looking for. But yeah, on Friday we got off to a bit of a slow start, I won't lie. We went into the day down by 11 strokes, and I think it was down to almost 15 at one point. And so kind of just trying to manage that as a coach is very important, especially when we decided that we weren't going to check leaderboards. And so the energy that I bring to the table's very important. And so just kind of trying to stay steady and consistent and positive and supportive as best I could. And then as the day kept going on, I took a little break, didn't check it from about maybe holes 4 to 9. And then we get into the back 9, and I was checking it a little bit more. And before you know it, the gap was closed to 8 strokes, and then 5 strokes, and then 2 strokes. And by the time we had gotten it that close, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood kind of the significance and what we were accomplishing, and continued to keep the pedal down and save every stroke we could. Kelsey made a great birdie on 14. Haley stuffed it on 17. Hannah made an awesome par on 15. That hole was playing pretty hard. And so to see that, I was hopeful that we could close it out. But lots of excitement for me getting my first win as a head coach meant the world. I think, we work day in and day out to have success on and off the golf course, and to be able to accomplish that was very emotional and very special.
How proud Bob Grisham be?
I hope very. I think about him a lot, especially in Arizona. That was one of our favorite places that we love to go. And my hope is I do him proud on a daily basis.
Wow. That's it's hard for a lot of us here at Saints community. But looking ahead, with Arizona being a special place, the women will next be in action starting on April the 4th in the RJGA Palm Valley Classic, taking place in April. So a little bit of time to reset after quite an emotional win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the girls are looking forward to just getting some practice time and getting some good reps in there. Obviously, we won, but there are still things we're working to improve always, I hope. And so just gets a little extra time. We're going to play some rounds at some new courses and get plenty of qualifying rounds in, tile up the short game a little bit. The Palm Valley event is a huge one. There's usually upwards of 20 teams in the event, and it's a huge head-to-head in the region where you get a lot of the Texas schools coming over to play, which is usually the only time we see them. And so my hope is we can use this momentum and all this positive energy, put that into practice in the next couple weeks, and hopefully be ready to hit the ground in early April and have a strong finish. We'll see a lot of conference opponents as well in that event, and as well as West Region, so it'll be great. The girls know the golf course. We usually go down there every year, and it's a good scoreable test of golf, so looking forward to it for sure.
See what happens come April the 4th through the 6th. For the men, they'll be in action starting on Friday. Hot Dirt Desert Shootout taking place in Goodyear, Arizona, and then they'll move on to the Stack Cougar Burro Collegiate. They'll take place starting on Sunday, finishing on Tuesday with 54 holes of golf all the way there. But Coach Bahr, you got a plane to catch.
I do. We got to go.
Well, Coach, you take care. Enjoy. Thanks for this. And thanks for, most importantly, you for joining us at home. But as always, it's a great day to be a Saint.